Hello, hello, and welcome back to another podcast here on the Live Out Loud podcast. I am saying hello from a winter wonderland now. It has finally snowed here in the northern country, and we are so excited as we can sled and play all things snow, and it just makes the days feel cozier, you know? So I am saying hello from the winter wonderland. I'm not sure where you are saying hello from, but I hope that all is well and that your days are full of peace and joy and love and friends, laughter, all things good. And if they are not, I pray that you are finding strength in those days as well, in the not so good days, and that God is able to breathe life into your days wherever you are at. So I just want to say welcome to this space, and let's enjoy our next few minutes together. I want to let you know a few things about the Live Out Loud podcast. Number one, I would love to connect with you in conversations, and a simple way to do this is over on Instagram. I am the curator of the space, elliandtheboys.co, and I would just love to chat with you. If you have questions for me, or if you find yourself needing encouragement, I would love to connect with you. Or if you have encouragement to send my way, please do so. We are all in this life together, and we are here to support one another and just be life-giving for each other. So again, on Instagram, elliandtheboys.co, let's connect. And secondly, I'd like for you to know that every Tuesday, I will be releasing a new podcast. It will not be daily, as I am a busy mom, but every Tuesday, I have the opportunity to share my heart with you. So let's connect on this platform and start real conversations together right here on the Live Out Loud podcast. On our last podcast together, we talked about what it looked like to face unimaginable circumstances, and I shared my story. And I've got to be honest, when I listened back to the audio, I found myself in tears, just reliving the moments, but overwhelmed at the goodness of God and how we had seen Him through life just show up again and again. So it was just exciting for me to share that part with you. And today I'm excited about our conversation because we get to talk about what it looks like to stay connected as a family in a season of busyness, whenever our schedules are pulling us from one side to the other, and what are some things that we have done in our family life to create a family life where we can thrive even in a season that is less than ideal. Life has looked different for us. We have walked through different seasons. I have been a stay-at-home mom with the kids. I have worked and homeschooled at the same time. We have packed up and moved to a new place several times. And so change is not something new to us as a family. But I think it is important how we face change in life and how we face times in life when, again, it is less than ideal. And something I have found to be very helpful is that if I choose to be intentional with our time, we as a family can find beauty and growth in the midst of it. Intentionality is not something that comes easy to a lot of us. We have to work hard at it, but our hard work pays off because at the end of the season that we're in, we will come out on the other side with stronger relationships because it is what we put time and effort into. And so the question is, what does all of this look like whenever we are in the middle of transition or a season of perhaps moving to a new place, navigating relationships with your children? Perhaps it is the loss of a job for a spouse, or just trying to figure out life and everything that goes on every day. And so here are my top 3 favorite ways to stay connected as a family in a busy season of life. Number 1, carve out consistency. Number 2, open communication. And number 3, have fun. And we're going to break those down a little bit today and talk about each one individually and what they look like for us in our family life and what they have looked like, and just throw out some ideas that maybe you can do with your family, or you can find some new ways to connect with your family. And hopefully this will just spur on some ideas and communication topics for you and what your family needs. Carving out consistency. I don't know if you have ever noticed, but it seems that newborn babies and toddlers operate better whenever they have consistency in their lives. Whenever there is a repeated pattern that they can count on and they know when nap time is or when they will be eating their breakfast, moods are increased, their overall pleasantness of life is just brighter. And it is no different when we get older and our kids are growing up. They need consistency. And in a time of life when things are kind of all over the place, sometimes we forget to create consistency for them and a rhythm that they can count on. And it's not just for them, it's also for us as parents to count on it. It is important for us to carve out a time of day where we will intentionally connect with the people in our family. And what that has looked like for us is seeing everyone's schedule and finding a time of day that works best. It could be in the morning, at lunchtime, in the evening, before bedtime, whatever that looks like, and making it a special time of communication, a time of enjoyment. It is not a time to sit down and lecture people. It is a time of life-giving time together, and of talking through our day, of talking through the highs and the lows, and what our day looked like, and what was a hard moment for me, and being real and vulnerable with each other. These few minutes that we carve out could be time of prayer over one another, of speaking words of life and encouragement over one another. It could be reading scripture together and making that speak louder than our defeats of the day, and letting the words of God just wash over our spirits. Or it could be like enjoying a quick card game together, all piled up on the bed. But carving out that consistency gives us something to look forward to. Whenever I am faced with a hard moment in my day, I find joy in knowing that tonight when we get home and we're all together under the same roof, we're going to enjoy a few minutes together. Sometimes consistency looks a little different. It looks like the only times in our day we have together is whenever we are carting kids from one thing to the other, or in between things on our schedule. And that's okay. If we are intentional, we're going to take advantage of the times we have. Some of our best conversations have often happened when I am dropping my older boys at their youth events, and it's just the three of us in the car, and they just open up in a way that is so beautiful, and they express their thoughts and their hearts, and it's just life-giving for all of us, and we kind of look forward to it every week. But that is what consistency looks like in that time of life. Consistency has a way of grounding us as a family unit, and it helps us stay connected in a time of life where we would otherwise not be as connected. So this one is a favorite of mine, and really in whatever season of life, it is just so good to have a constant that we can be excited about doing together. The second one is open communication. Regardless of whatever age children you have in your home, this one is important. Sometimes life gets so busy that we forget to touch base with the people that we do life with. But I want to encourage us to make this a daily habit of seeing the people in our family and asking them how they are doing. That's all. Find a moment whenever you know that it's going to be okay for them to share if they have something to share. Not a busy moment when there's so many people in the kitchen and you quickly ask, how are you doing? But take a moment, find them when they are in their room, sitting on the floor playing Legos. Or like I said earlier, when you're driving to a specific place and it's just a few of you in the car, make your afternoon coffee and invite them to have a cup of hot something with you. Be intentional about creating a space that is a safe space for them to open up, and then ask the question, how are you doing today? And allow them to answer. And whatever their answer is, just be there to encourage them, to listen, not just to fix it for them. And whenever they share, make sure to validate their feelings and their thoughts, because so often maybe our teenagers or our young kids can feel like we as parents have it all together. And I have to remind them that I am just living today for the very first time, and it is encouraging for them to hear that. And so when they are sharing, I can also extend that same grace to them instead of saying things like, well, it's going to get better, or you shouldn't feel that way because that's not really what happened. Instead, I am here to listen and just be with them as they share their hearts. But creating an atmosphere of open communication keeps us connected when otherwise we would all be going our separate ways and we wouldn't know what is going on deep inside each other's hearts. And as a family, we have to care for each other, and we care for each other whenever we understand where that person is at, how their heart is dealing with the situations, how they're stepping forward every day or being held back. And as that open communication continues, we will be able to speak into our children's lives and give them tools to help them with the process. And that is a beautiful part of this open communication thing that I love, is whenever we get to the place where they are asking, Mom, I just don't know how to deal with this. And then you're like, I've been praying over this situation for so long, and God has given me an idea on how to help you. And then I can share that with them. But their hearts are open because I have created a safe space for them to share their heart, be heard, and be encouraged. And the last one is to have fun. Need I say more? Okay, but I will say more because this one is just exciting to talk about. Sometimes as adults, we forget to have fun, and we forget that our children benefit from us having fun. I know my kids love to hear me laugh, and sometimes I forget to even laugh out loud. I will laugh in my head, and I forget that they need to hear me laugh and how life-giving that is for them. Now, I haven't done any research on what having fun with your kids does, but I am sure that there is a study somewhere out there that says laughing with your children increases their health by 100%. And now, again, this is not a research based on any kind of true study, but I have seen it play out with my family and with my kids that whenever I laugh and I enjoy the little moments, the big moments, the kids' moods are genuinely lighter. And having fun isn't simply laughing together. It is doing all kinds of things together, playing card games, sledding down a snowy hill for us recently. And if you saw my stories yesterday, I'm a little embarrassed, but it was so much fun to yell my way, scream my way down the hill as I was falling off of that tiny sled. But having fun with my children was just life-giving for all of us. Sometimes it looks like putting on crazy music in the house when tensions may be high or schoolwork cannot get done because we're all hitting a brick wall, and just turning the volume up and dancing crazily together. The really awesome thing about having fun together is that there's really no right or wrong way of doing it. But intentionally choosing to have fun in the middle of life will be such a gift to them as they grow up, and they will look back on their childhood and remember that it didn't matter what life looked like. Mom and Dad were always there to have fun with us, and that's what I want my kids to remember about their childhood. It wasn't perfect, but we had fun together. And so, those are 3 of my favorite ways to stay connected as a family unit in busy seasons and when life is just not going the easiest. But regardless of the season that we find ourselves in, I want to encourage us to pursue those heart relationships with our children, with our spouse, to go after the bigger picture. And that is to be kingdom-minded, and relationships are kingdom-minded. So the time and the effort that we invest into them is not lost. Let's invest into the relationships of our home.